Everyone agrees that there are problems in the educational system of America. As a nation, we are falling behind in science and math, seeing our test scores go down. More students are dropping out. There's an increase in school violence. Everyone has their opinion on how to fix the problems. Politicians squabble with school administrators. Teachers squabble with parents. Solutions are offered. More testing, more creativity, longer school days, longer school year, integration, separation, more rigorous standards. The list of school problems is long, but comes down to one thing: apathy. What is apathy? Simply the lack of interest or concern. It seems everyone else cares about how the students do except the students themselves. We, as a nation, have to make our students more interested in their education than in their phones or video game systems. So what problems does apathy create? Well, there's truancy. According to one survey found on the internet, nearly 1 in 10 15-year-olds were truant at least once a week in U.S. schools. In Pittsburgh, each day approximately 3,500 students, or roughly 12% of the student population, is absent. 70% of these absences are unexcused. Similarly, in Philadelphia, about 2,500 students a day are absent without an excuse. There is also dropouts. Every school day, 7,000 U.S. students leave high school, never to return. As recently as 2004, approximately 3.8 million 16 through 24-year-olds were not enrolled in high school and had not earned a high school diploma or alternative credential. Based on calculations per school day, one high school student drops out every 9 seconds. The dropout rate for students with emotional or behavioral disabilities is approximately twice that of the general education students. There's also failing tests. There's one chart that shows it all. So what solutions have been tried or proposed? Well, there was the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001, also known as NCLB. It is a U.S. federal law that was originally proposed by President George W. Bush in 2001. The legislation funds a number of federal programs aiming at improving the performance of U.S. schools by increasing the standards of accountability for states, school districts, and schools, as well as providing parents more flexibility in choosing which schools their children will attend. Additionally, it promotes an increased focus on reading and math. There is also the Common Core standards. This most recent initiative to make sure that teachers are measuring up by aligning curriculum with educational standards in math and English. Students demonstrate their mastery of the Common Core of knowledge through a series of high-stakes tests meant to measure their knowledge. For example, students in Massachusetts take a series of high-stakes tests in the 10th grade, known as the MCAS. If these students do not pass the test, they cannot graduate with a high school diploma. There is also early graduation. Students in up to 20 schools in 8 states will have the chance to graduate after the 10th grade, starting in the 2011-12 school year. The pilot program, organized by the National Center on Education and the Economy, will require students to pass a series of college-level subject-based tests for program eligibility. Others have proposed more time in schools. The typical school year for most kids in the United States is about 180 days long. Students usually spend about 6.5 hours a day in school. Many people feel this isn't enough time, including President Obama and Education Secretary Arne Duncan, who both feel the school day should be up to 12 hours long, 7 days a week, and 12 months long. They claim that schools in countries that are beating us are going to school 25 to 30 days more. There are also other proposals such as school choice, homeschooling, smaller class sizes, improving teacher quality, increasing funding, or better technology. But none of these seem to work. So I propose my proposal, very humbly. The solution is simple, really. Let's turn schools into prisons. I mean, every year I hear students who say that school is already like a prison, so why not really make them prisons? My proposal is simple as stated before. When a child turns 5, their parents, or parent as is the case too often, drop their kids off to the school prison. Once there, the child will not leave until they complete 12 levels. This proposal will stop the ills already mentioned. It will decrease apathy. Most students seek immediate rewards. They don't see how their choices today affect tomorrow. However, because students want to leave the prison school, they know they will have to complete the 12 levels in order to do that. I predict they will want to get out as quickly as possible, therefore try their hardest. Another side benefit to this program is that students progress at their own rate, rather than being pushed along like an assembly line. They are grouped according to ability rather than the year they were born. This proposal will also reduce both the dropout rate and truancy rate. Effectively, the rate of both would become 0. Students have nowhere to go, and if they do decide to skip school, they are only hurting themselves, adding to the time they are in school. As you can see, this proposal would solve the 3 problems stated. However, there are added benefits to the proposal. It will help create a more well-rounded student. In a traditional school, students are only there for 6.5 hours. In that time, the core subjects are pressed upon so much that courses such as phys ed, art, and music are often cut. With the students at the school for 24 hours, there would be room to add those courses and any other that might create a more complete learning experience. In addition, the students will become better characters. Because many students don't learn character education at home, schools now have to teach students how to be honest, responsible, caring, self-disciplined, courageous, fair, respectful, and a good citizen. We could accomplish this at school. There are also less distractions for students. Today's students are distracted by annoying text, computers which show mindless YouTube videos, and television which rots the brain. By making sure these media tools are not allowed, well, we'll allow them only in the classroom, we will help the students. Some even claim that TV and video games create other problems such as ADD and violence. Now, we will have a peaceful group of students who can pay attention. Students are safer. In 2009, about 3,000 teens in the United States aged 15 to 19 were killed, and more than 350,000 were treated in emergency departments for injuries suffered in motor vehicle crashes. These injuries accounted for $26 billion of costs of motor vehicle injuries. It is the leading cause of death in teenagers who don't have the sense to make good decisions yet. It is also estimated that a combined $276 billion was spent or lost in 2005 on healthcare, lost productivity, premature death, auto accidents, and crime relating to drug and alcohol abuse. Another $157 billion is lost in medical expenses and lost productivity because of cigarette smoking. It is also known that most people have their first experience with drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes as teenagers. If those items weren't available, most likely the students won't try them, and then get addicted to the habit that not only might kill them, but cost the country a substantial amount of money. Another area of concern for today's teens is their misuse of social media. Teens seem to lack the good judgment when it comes to using Facebook or chat rooms, especially when it is estimated that there are over 50,000 sexual predators online at any given time. Without computers to idle their time away on, sexual predators won't be able to prey on the students. Students will be in better health. By regulating teenagers, we can ensure that they learn healthy habits. They would eat 3 healthy meals a day, and any snacks they eat would also be healthy. This would help curtail the staggering cost of obesity, which annually costs over $270 billion. We can also ensure that they sleep for 8 hours a night and develop good hygiene like teeth brushing and hand washing. I predict there will also be fewer teen pregnancies. If a teenager became pregnant, we would require both the mother and the father to take care of their child until the mother was old enough to attend school themselves. As a result, the mother and father would have to take 5 years off from their education. Quite the deterrent. Oh, by the way, it costs the U.S. almost $10 billion annually in costs related to teen pregnancy. There'll also be freedom for parents. Today, too many parents don't raise their kids because they feel the need to work. Instead, kids are put in daycare or put in front of a TV or computer. After 5 years, parents would be rid of the responsibility and can partake in whatever selfish lifestyle they want without affecting the lives of their children. In addition, parents would suddenly have more money to spend, as it costs over $200,000 to raise a child until he or she is 18, or roughly $12,000 per year. For those parents who want to play a role in the lives of their kids, well, they can either become teachers themselves or volunteer their services. There are other benefits for society also. For example, more jobs will become available. With economic times so tough and recent unemployment rates of 9.2%, having more working-age teens in school prison means more jobs open up for those who need work. No one should be able to say that they can't find work now. With so many jobs open and fewer kids staying at home, the total cost of welfare should also go down. This could save the U.S. $354 billion annually. The U.S. will also become a stronger country. With obesity rates above 34% of the population, we appear to be a weak, pudgy nation. No other countries are scared of us. As students graduate, our nation now becomes more fit. Our soldiers will instill fear. But wait, it gets better. According to the latest figures, we already spend $562 billion per year in education. We also spend $37 billion on prisons across the U.S. Many of those in prison are uneducated. Most are serving for violent crimes or drug crimes. As students begin graduating from the prison school more educated, less prone to drugs and violence, the prison population should decline, saving more money and resources. Finally, by my estimates, by creating these prison schools, we could save the U.S. over $1 trillion annually. We all know how much this country values money, so much that we spend more than we have, both personally and nationally. By my calculations, our national debt, which currently stands at $14 trillion, could be paid off in 20 years or less. I have shared this idea with many others, most like it. Some shared their own twist to the plan. One close friend explained how the students could wear jumpsuits to show their differences, perhaps by grade level, behavior, or learning ability. I thought this idea was cruel. Another friend suggested combining this idea with a factory where every school produced a good for the general public's consumption. Students work in a factory learning valuable workplace skills while earning money, which is placed in a bank and can only be withdrawn upon graduation. Therefore, when the students graduate, they have money to pay for college or pay for a house, ensuring that they start life out with less debt. In addition, the school also earns money and can become more self-sufficient. With all things considered, I see no flaws in this proposal except the voices of students who say they wouldn't want to go. But I respond with this point: do they like to go today?